Ja, hallo, hier ist die Anni. Ja, wer denn auch sonst? Der Weihnachtsmann garantiert nicht, denn der hat sich schon verabschiedet. Okay. Komm, wir kommen zum Ernst des Lebens. Also, bevor wir wie ein Profi-Wrestler in das Video reinslammen, wollte ich hier nochmal eine Warnung aussprechen. Ich erwähne es zwar schon im Video, aber wirklich, guck dir dieses Event nicht an, wenn du dir Genshin mit mir zusammen quasi anguckst, beziehungsweise mit mir die Geschichte durchlebst und du dementsprechend noch nichts von Fontaine und so weiter weißt, guck es dir nicht an. Oder B, du bist in Fontaine noch nicht so weit, hast die Erkonten-Quest noch nicht gemacht oder was weiß ich, bist halt in Fontaine noch nicht so weit. Dann auch hier, guck dir dieses Video bitte nicht an. Wirklich, ihr werdet hier richtig übel gespoilert, wenn du dir das anschaust und du bist noch nicht so weit. Deswegen nochmal ein kleiner Vorreiter hier, denn ich möchte wirklich nicht, dass dann am Ende irgendwie kommt, oh Mist, ich habe die Warnung nicht wirklich ernst genommen und jetzt habe ich mich hier ganz übel gespoilert. Das möchte ich echt verhindern, also, ne? Ich bin ja nicht böse, wenn du dir das Event nicht anguckst oder so, solange du dich nicht, solange du dir den Spaß nicht verdirbst, weil hier etwas vorkommt, was du nicht sehen möchtest, noch nicht, weil wir noch nicht so weit sind oder du noch nicht so weit bist, weil du es eben selbst aufspielst. Also dann, das war's mit meiner Warnung. Wie gesagt, im Video kriegt ihr die gleich nochmal zu hören, aber jetzt, nachdem ich den ersten Part gespielt habe, weiß ich, oh, ganz dicke Warnung hier. Okay, also dann, hauen wir uns mal rein. Wir sehen uns dann gleich. Tüdelü! Hallihallo, ihr kleinen Fassadenkletterer und willkommen zum Event Rosen und Musketen. Der Dampfvogel berichtet, dass in letzter Zeit helle Aufregung unter den Menschen Fontaines herrscht. Auf Paimons Vorschlag, hin habt ihr euch also zu den Festspielen begeben. Hier öffnet eine unerwartete Begegnung mit einem alten Bekannten den Vorhang für ein paar erstaunliche Ereignisse. Und warum ich Fassadenkletterer gesagt habe, ich hatte ein bisschen Angst, dass, wenn ich hier irgendwie, wartet, irgendwo ist der Hauptweg. Hier ist der Hauptweg. Und ich hatte ein bisschen Angst, dass, wenn ich den benutze, ich irgendein Event trigger. Und deswegen bin ich hintenrum nach hinten gelaufen, habe hier irgendwo eine gute Stelle gefunden und bin dann einfach die Mauer hochgeklettert. Bin dann hier runter, habe dann hier die Statue freigeschaltet und bin dann hier hingelaufen. Ja, man hat im Leben sonst nichts zu tun. Und bevor wir starten, wieder eine kleine Warnung für diejenigen, die sich bei mir das Genshin-Spiel komplett ansehen und eben noch nicht wissen, was weiterhin passiert. Hier in dem Event tauchen Charaktere auf, denen wir noch nicht begegnet sind und die agieren schon so, als wären wir denen begegnet. Heißt, wir sind hier alle schon Best Friends. Deshalb die Warnung, falls du das nicht sehen möchtest, dich nicht spoilern lassen möchtest, was hier eben ein Spoiler sein könnte, was auch immer ein Spoiler wäre, bis auf die Charaktere, die hier noch nicht aufgetaucht sind und wir mit denen eben Best Friends sind. Bitte schau dir das Event nicht an. Und weiterhin, wie gesagt, mein VTuber friert immer wieder ein. Habe ich euch, das wisst ihr ja schon, ne? Habe ich euch jetzt schon mehr als einmal zugeheult mit dieser Situation. Beachtet das nicht weiter. Ja, bitte, Zhongli. Ja, und ich würde sagen, das war jetzt alles, was ich noch vorweg sagen wollte, bevor wir hier beginnen. Und dann würde ich sagen, let's go, meine Lieben. Okay, es geht los, Leute. Oh, da ist noch eine. Xavier, ich mag dich nicht. Ihr werdet doch früh genug merken, warum ich ihn nicht mag. Oder auch nicht, weil ich es ignoriere.
I'm really facing a crisis. My hands are tied. But what about my film?
Was ist mit seinem Film, Mann?
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to come up with something on your own. Take it from me. Sometimes you just have to let things go. Same goes for this film festival.
Warum? Lass uns einen Film drehen. Xavier, ich mag dich nicht, aber es ist trotzdem schade.
Hey, isn't that Xavier? So he's
Okay,
back in Fontaine now.
Xavier. Ich sage aber Xavier, weil sich das cooler anhört. Okay.
Oh, why, if it isn't the dear traveler.
Ja,
I really didn't expect to
das
bump into you here at this
meinte ich
time.
mit, wir agieren, als hätten wir alles schon hinter uns. Wir sind Xavier, wir sind ihm zwar schon begegnet, aber ich bin knallhart in ihn vorbeigerannt. Hier tut er so, als hätten wir ihm schon geholfen. Also, ne, das meinte ich mit, die Charaktere tun so, als ob wir voll die Friends wären, aber in echt sind wir Feinde. Lange nicht gesehen, wie ist es dir ergangen?
Well, I was doing just fine until I
Just
received
fine?
some terrible news just now. The investor I was working with for my upcoming film has fallen upon some hard times and is no
Nein, das ist ja
longer
voll
able to provide
schrecklich,
the promised
Xavier.
amount of funds.
Can't you just find a different investor?
Ja, wäre einfach, ne?
Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Okay.
We had signed an agreement specific to the Fontaine Film Festival, stipulating that I cannot work with any other investors until the festival is finished.
The Fontaine Film Festival? What's that?
Oh, is this your first time participating in Fontaine's Fontaine Film Festival?
Ja,
Then
ja.
allow me to fill you in. The
Hau raus.
Fontaine Festival was established to commemorate the legendary Loch Knights, who went on a quest to search for the Oceanids, and eventually welcomed the Hydro Arconageria. The holiday is deeply connected to the founding of Fontaine, as well as its unique laws and trials. It's one of the most important festivals for this nation.
But what's with that weird expression on your face? It's like you're trying really hard to remember something.
Ja.
I was just trying to recall the exact description from the books, in order to avoid any unnecessary arguments over semantics.
Okay.
I usually try to recite things straight from the source.
Well, either way, Paimon thinks she gets it now. It's just like the Windbloom Festival in Mondstadt, and the Lantern Rite in Lille.
Yes, those are festivals of a similar variety. Who doesn't like a good festival? And just like those of other nations, Fontaine will hold a plethora of events around this time each year. To commemorate the Loch Knights, people will imitate them
Das
by
ist
putting
mal
on
ein
special
Kelch.
costumes, raising golden cups, and going door to door asking for pure water. But a few years ago, Lady Farina started to find the whole idea a little drab, and so decided to change the part about pure water to sweets.
Really doesn't surprise Paimon at all.
The whole thing seems more akin to a carnival now, and it's quite popular among the kids.
Oh, das
Every
ist ja
year
ein
you can
kleiner
hear a bunch of
Cuter.
them
Ja, ich
saying,
weiß, es ist die
"Try
Brille.
or treat."
Oh, that sounds pretty fun. But how does that connect back to the film festival you mentioned?
Ah, yes, it appears I've strayed off topic. I just got too excited after seeing you. Let me get back to the point. The Fontaine Film Festival is an event proposed by the Fontaine Film Association this year. Now that film technology has matured as a medium, it's the perfect time to introduce more people to the art form. During this time, people may submit films to be evaluated, and the entry with the highest score will be given the Farina Award by the association.
Okay.
The what award?
The Farina
The was,
Award. You know, after the Hydro Archon. They coined it while Lady Farina was still in power, but even though things have changed, no one has made any motion to update the name. Perhaps everyone still thinks of it as a pretty appropriate name. Even though she isn't the Hydro Archon any longer, Lady Farina is still Fontaine's
Ja,
superstar.
und hier ist halt ein
Anyone with eyes can see
extremer
that she
Spoiler,
shines on
ne?
the stage.
Also, ich hoffe, ihr habt vorher meine Warnung ernst genommen, als ich gesagt habe, hier sind Spoiler drin.
That way.
Oh, but who would have guessed there'd be an issue with the funding? How will I ever explain
Ansonsten
this to
habt
Miss
ihr euch jetzt
Chiori?
richtig hart
Not to say all
gespoilert.
the other actors who traveled all the way here from Inazuma.
Chiori? Sounds familiar. Where have we heard that name before?
Ihr gehört der Bekleidungsladen am Hof von Fontaine. Chioria Boutique.
Yes, that's her. I asked her to oversee the event's art direction, including the design of the actors' costumes and appearances.
Oh, Paimon remembers now! Navia said that her clothes were designed by Chiori, and Kirara's outfit too!
How to describe her? Well, she tends to be pretty direct and can be very forceful when it comes to dealing with people. The fashion world in Fontaine has dubbed her the Thundering Seamstress.
Okay.
Her remarkable designs have led many Fontainians to become very interested in Inazuma. Anyway, Chiori is acquainted with all the actors I've invited from Inazuma. Without her help, I don't think I would have been able to get such an international cast for the film. She really is a kind soul.
Who are the actors from Inazuma? Do we know them?
Why don't the two of you accompany me to the Aquabus station to welcome them?
Okay.
Judging from the time, the Aquabus should be arriving shortly. Chiori will be waiting to meet me there as well.
Okay. Musketenschüsse durchbrechen die Stille. Neuer Abschnitt. Ah! Da ist er wieder, dieser dicke Humpen. Ach so. Alles klar. Das sind jetzt quasi wieder die kleinen Nebenaufgaben. Aber ich sehe hier etwas. Oh, yes. Gut, wartet. Wir müssen dorthin. Wow, ja, ist ja gut. Ich habe verstanden, dass ich jetzt ganz viel machen kann. Oh, ich liebe Fontaine. Ich freue mich schon, wenn wir hier wirklich sind. Ich dachte ja echt, Sumero wäre ja quasi mein Lieblingsgebiet, also die Dschungelgegend. Aber nein, es ist Fontaine. Es ist eindeutig Fontaine. Auf welche Ebene müssen wir denn? Navia-Ebene? Ah, sehen wir mal gleich. Ja. Oh nein! Zweite Ebene. Ach, wir wollten einfach mal Fahrstuhl fahren, nicht wahr? So. Oh wow, guckt sie euch an. Sie sieht richtig cool aus. Ich liebe ihre Aufmachung. Okay, die Schuhe jetzt nicht. Würde ich solche tragen, hätte ich die garantiert zerbrochen und mein Knöchel ebenfalls.
Miss Chiori?
Aber die Aufmachung... Oh, guckt sie euch an. Oh mein Gott, sie ist so hübsch.
The Aquabus hasn't even arrived yet. Oh? And who are they?
Dein zukünftiger Ehemann.
Allow me to introduce you. This is the Traveler and Paimon.
Warum hast du dich jetzt gerade so
Likewise. We've
nasal angehört? Also...
So it's a real pleasure to finally meet you in person.
Das Kleid von Navia ist wirklich schön und außergewöhnlich. Das Konzept hinter Chiaras Kleidungsstil ist wirklich originell.
Why, thank you. I strove to create an outfit that matched her high social station as the demoiselle. So tell me, what happened? I can tell the conversation didn't go quite as expected.
Ah, well, it's like this.
Ja, erzählt mal. Toll. Ausgerechnet in dem Moment, wo ich einmal gegähnt habe.
I know,
Es ist schon so
you don't have
spät,
to say
Leute.
it. You did remind me that this investor was a little bit
Also
sketchy.
für euch ist es wahrscheinlich früh, aber ich bin
Yes,
alt. Für mich
there's
ist
no
es
doubt
spät.
about that.
But how could I pass it up? He offered me twice as much as the others.
And therein lies the problem.
Yes, but just put yourself in my shoes. After obtaining such an excellent script, it's only natural that I would want to make the most of the film. The budgets that the others had proposed were nowhere near enough. It's difficult to find someone willing to front such a large amount of mora, so...
Don't be sad, Xavier. We might be able to help scrounge up some more.
Ja, wir
together
kriegen das
for you.
bestimmt hin. Genau, da nick ich einfach mal
Thank
eifrig.
you, Paimon. That means a lot to me.
Ja, gern
But the
geschehen.
cost of the film is
Dafür lässt du
staggering.
mich in
I'm
Inazuma
afraid
in
that
Ruhe,
any
okay?
mora we can scrounge together in a short amount of time won't even be able to cover the actors' fees.
We need to move on. What's happened has already happened, and there's no changing it. But now's not the time to give up.
What? You're saying that you have a plan?
Du hast einen Plan?
No, that's not what I mean. I'm simply saying I wouldn't give up just yet. The actors I recommended aren't just after Mora after all.
Ja. Ladebalken sind so schön. Oh mein Gott! Yui, Mia! Und Ayato, mein Boy! Ich wollte gerade mein Girl sagen.
These live in Mercy Village. The only way to enter is from underwater.
Und Ayaka, meine Ehefrau, die ich mir schon längst klar gemacht habe.
Every day, right? I mean, you have to swim all that way just to go home. We are so thoughtful. But some Melusines choose to live in the court of Fontaine because it's so much more convenient.
This is our stop.
Kamisato Ayato, Säule der Stärke. Kamisato Ayato, das junge und talentierte derzeitige Oberhaupt der Familie Kamisato, der Yashiro-Verwaltung. Alter, was für ein Satz! Ist ein sanfter und höflicher Mann, der seine eigenen Mittel und Wege hat. Auf den ersten Blick ist er zurückhaltend und elegant. Er ist kein Liebhaber öffentlicher Auftritte und zeigt kaum sein Können. Bip, 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 bip. Aber diejenigen, die ihn kennen, wissen, dass er nicht zu unterschätzen ist. Vor langer Zeit, als die Yashiro-Verwaltung in Schwierigkeiten geriet und der Kamisato-Clan am Rande des Zusammenbruchs stand, war es dieser junge Mann, der die Gelegenheit nutzte und alles in Ordnung brachte. Er hätte seine Position nicht ohne großes Geschick und Gerissenheit, nicht Gewissenheit, erreichen können. Aber hinter dem perfekten Lächeln verbergen sich vielleicht dunklere Wellen. Oh, der ist so hottie. Aber ja, er ist ein sehr netter Mensch, wenn man ihn nicht anpieselt. Dann sollte man rennen.
Fontaine along the way. Everything you described was so clear and detailed that we can't help but want to hear more. Thank you so much. I'm usually working here on the Sakura bus, so I hope I'll have the chance to see you again.
Bye! Ja, ich freue mich schon. Ich hoffe, wir kriegen auch mal so einen Charakter. Die sind total niedlich. Guten Day. Achso, ich verstecke mich da
Welcome
hinten.
to the court of Fontaine.
Ja, guten Tag.
Chiori, you sure have changed a lot. This is the first time we've seen you since you left Inazuma.
Diese Kleidung kann man
I haven't
kaufen, also mit
realized it's been
echtem
so
Geld.
long. I was in such a rush when I left that I didn't even get to say goodbye.
Thank you for extending the invitation, Mr. Xavier. I'm looking forward to a fruitful trip here in Fontaine.
It's an honor to have the head of the Kamisato clan
Ja.
visit us.
So they're who you meant when you said you had actors coming from Inazuma?
Oh? It's the Traveler. And
Ja, hallo.
wow, what a coincidence! Ayaka and I were just talking about you on the way here. Are you also here for the film?
Ja, aber hallo.
Just ran
Schon
into
wieder
Xavier
mal.
earlier
Hallo.
and came over with him.
Ja, wir kamen einfach mit ihm.
But I'm not an actress. Sir Kamisato and Lady Ayaka are the real actors here. I'm just tagging along with Ayaka to have a good time together.
Ich hatte geglaubt, immer die Hauptrolle zu bekommen.
About that, I mean, how was I supposed to
Ja,
contact you when I was making
ja,
preparations for the
brauchst
film?
dich gar nicht
I figured
rausreden.
you were probably busy, and I
okay.
didn't want to disturb you. So I could only keep you in the back of my mind while I sought other actors to play the lead roles in the film.
Ja, ist gut.
I'd been thinking about a surprise reunion with you during our trip here. But you still managed to surprise me first.
Oh, so you all know each other already.
Ja, wir kennen uns. Also noch nicht wirklich, aber hier kennen wir uns schon.
Brought together here like this. Why don't we go to Hotel de Boer and catch up over a meal? I've already made a reservation.
Huh? Did you reserve 2 spots for us too?
Yes, of course, of course. I'll be sure to tell the boss to serve a few more delicious dishes just to make sure there'll be enough food.
Very well. Then please, kindly lead the way, Mr. Xavier.
Zeig uns den Weg. Oh, Ayato ist auch so ein Hottie. Ich habe den so lange gespielt gehabt, Leute. Mann. Und dann habe ich Tainari bekommen und Ayato war leider nicht mehr im Team.
Wow, the buildings in Fontaine are so tall.
Ja, das ist so hübsch.
They are. And there's the fountain that Aval mentioned earlier.
Wenn jemand von euch die Kanne so baut, ja, darf ich dann euer Layout haben? Irgendwie kann man das doch dann kopieren, ne? Geh in die 2. Etage des Hotels de Bourg. Oh, nee, da wollte ich nicht hin. So, zeig mal her. Ich hoffe, wir kommen hier ohne Schwierigkeiten durch das Event. Aber gucken wir mal. Denn ich bin ja hier noch eigentlich gar nicht. Ich hoffe, das klappt so, wie ich mir das auch hoffe. Was hast du denn da? Einen leeren Teller. Oh, das Brot sieht so lecker aus. Oh, Pilzsuppe. Kuchen. Lasagne ist nicht so meins.
When I first went to Inazuma, I actually thought the food there tasted a little too bland. It took some time for me to get used to it.
Let's get back to the purpose of this trip for a
Oh,
moment,
so
shall we?
hot.
How have preparations for the film been coming along, Mr. Xavier?
Well, I've already assembled most of the film crew. A lighting specialist, a prop manager, and a costume designer. I've also bought the copyrights from the novel's author.
Oh, it's called The Two Musketeers, right? I read the script you sent me on the way here. The story is pretty good.
Originally, I was planning to start filming as soon as Sir Kamisato and Lady Ayaka arrived in Fontaine, but
Ja.
I'm afraid I've run into a bit of a problem.
Ja, aber auch nur ein kleines
Oh.
Problemo.
What is it?
Ja, was
It
ist
has
denn
to
das?
do with the
Erzähl's
film's
ihm ruhig.
investor, Mr. Morris. He suddenly informed me this morning that he's encountered some financial trouble and will be unable to release to me the amount of funding agreed upon.
It's said that Fontaine's legal system is well developed. If he has violated the contract, then can't you simply take him to court over the matter?
Well, I'm still more concerned about filming. Even if I were to take him to court, I'm afraid it would take months before the case could even be heard.
Then, is there a way we could raise funds ourselves to solve the problem?
I've considered that option too, but unfortunately, it's difficult to gather such a large amount of mora on such short notice. Besides, we have to consider the film festival's submission deadline.
Mr. Xavier, if Ayaka and I were willing to perform for free,
Oh.
would that resolve the problem we're currently facing?
What? No, out of the question. To have you come all this way just to act for free? No, that won't do.
There's no need to worry, Mr. Xavier. My brother and I had actually intended to work for free after receiving your invitation. Inazuma has only recently reopened its borders, and needs to strengthen its relations and cultural ties with other nations. We didn't have many collaboration projects with Fontaine in the past, so we hoped this trip would serve as a good start for the future.
Indeed. You could say that's the real reason why the Yashiro Commission agreed to come to Fontaine.
I understand, but having you two act for free just doesn't seem right.
Ja, doch, ist okay.
Not at all. While we're officially here to conduct a cultural survey of sorts, we must express our sincerity if we want to establish formal cultural ties with your nation.
Entschuldigt,
This
ich krieg
film
mich ja
will
wieder
serve as
ein.
proof of
Oh,
friendly
eine
cooperation
Aufnahme.
and cultural exchange between Inazuma and Fontaine. It's my hope that the film can be finished and released as smoothly as possible. If you still don't feel comfortable with this arrangement, I would also be more than happy to be introduced to some other renowned individuals in Fontaine's literary and artistic circles.
All right, I'll do as you say. Thank you
Ja,
so
bitte,
much.
bitte.
I'll
Bitte,
make sure
ich
to
hab zwar
come
nichts
together
getan,
a lot
aber
more
bitte.
now, even if it means selling my house, my camera, and every single family heirloom.
Come on now.
Bleib mal
you need to go
locker.
that far. I'll also help you out as a brand
Oh,
sponsor.
wir werden dir auch zur Seite stehen, als Freundschaftssponsorin.
Me too.
Oh, Yumi, ja, du bist so süß.
Still better than nothing.
Du redest nur zu viel, genauso wie ich, aber wenn ich rede, dann höre ich mir ja quasi
Too
nicht zu.
kind, all of you. I really don't know how
Oh, Taschentuch? Taschentuch? Ich habe keins.
Ew. All right, enough about that. Now that we have Xavier's savings, my support, and 2 leads who are willing to act for free, I think we will be able to make this happen. So, instead of Mora, you'll help with filming and production.
Oh, but how can we help with that? We don't know much about making a film.
All right. Pull yourself
Yo.
together, Xavier.
Bleib locker.
Tell us if there are still any open positions left among the crew.
All right. Let me think. We still need a camera operator, a clapper loader, and someone to manage logistics.
Okay.
I originally wanted to personally serve as director, but I've been too busy working as the producer. So the positions of director and director's assistant will also need to be filled.
Paimon knows what the director and the logistics support person do, but what's a clapper loader?
The clapper loader is responsible for using the clapper board to record and organize the information of each shot when the camera operator begins shooting. The work requires both patience and careful attention to detail.
A clapper board? Oh, you mean the thing they hold that goes clap
Clap.
whenever they start filming?
Clap,
Yes,
clap,
that's
clap.
right. Are you interested in that job?
For sure! Paimon's always wanted to try.
Ah, Paimon, du
Alright,
bist auch so ein
then you'll be our clapper
Knuffelchen.
loader. I can find someone from the store to help with logistics. What do you think, Xavier?
Well, fine by me. As for our camera operator, I was thinking of letting the Traveler take the role.
Okay, ich werde es auch richtig versauen. Nur für dich. Mua.
Paimon can't even count how many things we've taken photos of during our journey.
Yes, that's also what I was thinking. I noticed the Traveler had an eye for photography and composition when we worked together previously.
Hä,
I'm
wir
sure
haben noch
that's
nie
due to the
zusammengearbeitet. Was
traveler's journey
erzählst
across
du da?
Tibet and all the places they've seen. After so many adventures, using a camera must be second nature by now.
What do you say, Traveler? Are you interested in the job?
Hauptsache, ich kann behilflich sein. Licht, Kamera, Action!
Thank you. It really means a lot to me. Come on, friend. Let me give you a big warm hug.
Nee, danke. Aber Ayato kann gerne einmal zudrücken, wenn er möchte. Wir sollten uns lieber erst an die Arbeit machen.
So all that's left for us to find is a director and an assistant.
Oh, me.
Ah.
The director's assistant? All we need to do is help the director, right? I can handle that.
All right, then all we need is a director. Oh, all the well-known directors in Fontaine are probably also busy working on their own films these days. I'm not sure who will have time to help.
Oh, Farina helped out a theater troupe recently by serving as an artistic consultant. She could be a good director.
Spoiler!
Right now.
Ich hab euch gewarnt. Ich krieg nachher irgendwas zu hören.
Do you really think Lady Farina would be willing to help us with our humble project?
Isn't that the name of Fontaine's Hydro Archon? My brother has already informed me about what happened here in Fontaine. Yep, that's her. She helped out a theater troupe not too long ago, and now she's taking up work as a director.
Well,
I saw that musical. Her performance was perfect, and the storyboards were also excellent. Don't let her former identity intimidate you. She's the best candidate we can think of right now. You'll never know until you give her a shot.
fine. You're right, Shiori. I'll do anything for the sake of my film. Anything!
Okay!
Then I'll have to ask the Traveler and Paimon to show me the way to Lady Farina's residence. I just hope she'll agree to help.
Do you need us to also come along?
No, there's no need to trouble you with this. Besides, you've just arrived in Fontaine, and I'm sure there are many places you would like to visit.
Okay.
Just leave this task to me. It's part of my duties as the producer.
Very well. Then we'll be waiting to hear the good news.
I'll go with you. By the way, you might want to consider bringing a gift.
And don't worry, we won't simply drop you off at Farina's place. We know Farina pretty well by now, so having some familiar faces there should help your chances. Besides, the whole thing was our idea in the first place.
All right, then I'll start making preparations. As for the gift...
A gift for someone who was once seen as the Hydro Archon. I wonder what she would like.
I recall that Lady Farina once fancied a clockwork ring, so perhaps I should get another exquisite clockwork contraption for her.
Huh? Can't we just bring some desserts, like the Fontaine mousse?
But wouldn't that be a little too cheap? She does like desserts, though.
Isn't the Fontaine festival happening right now? I heard Abel tell us on the Aquabus that Farina introduced the tradition of going door to door and asking for sweets. To do something like that, she must have a real sweet tooth. I agree with Noemia.
Sie hat sogar ein Kuchenriesenrad. Ja. Ich hätte auch gerne so eins.
Alright then, let's go buy some Fontaine mousse.
Wow, was für ein Übergang
But will
gerade.
that really be enough? We'll
Hier,
be
guckt
asking
euch mal
her to
das
do
hier
a
an. Das
lot
ist
of
auch
work,
cool,
you know.
oder? Hui!
You're right.
Und diese
We need to
Hunde.
further sweeten
Ich liebe
the deal.
Fontaine.
Huh? You want something even sweeter than Fontaine mousse?
Yes. We'll need a gift that's sweeter than any
Oh
dessert
mein
in the
Gott,
world.
lutsch doch einfach Zucker.
Your words of praise.
Fontainale Mousse. Okay. Ich habe mir hier hinten, bei dem hier, habe ich mir auch schon alle Rezepte gekauft. Geht zu Furinas Residenz. Ja, wartet mal kurz. Muss ich noch... Ja. Okay. Muss ich das nicht herstellen? Ja, okay. Ist auch ganz nett. Wo ist denn Ihre Residenz? Dadam, dam, dadadam. Wo müssen wir hin? Dahin. Okay. Wow. Oh, ich liebe es hier. Mann, guckt doch mal. Guckt hin. Habt ihr geguckt? Okay. Wir nicht. Ach ja. Ja, sorry, Leute. Ich hab's mal wieder ein bisschen, ne? Ich meine, ist ja auch nichts Neues, aber okay. Ab und an kommt ja doch mal ein Neuer dazu, ne? Und verirrt sich hier zu uns. Ja, ich bin immer so doof drauf. Ja, falls jemand Neues zugucken sollte.
This is where Farina lives.
Okay, I'll go knock on the door.
Die sieht auch aus, als wäre sie... Sieht auch aus, als wäre sie fertig mit der Welt. Wow. Okay.
Seriously, who's knocking before afternoon tea? Who are you?
Furina, endloser Solotanz. Furina, die einst als Hydroarchon über dem Opernhaus thronte und auf alle unter ihr herabblickte, hat nun die Bühne verlassen und die Welt der Sterblichen betreten. Und obwohl sie nicht mehr die Rolle der Göttin spielt, wird sie doch noch immer von vielen in Fontaine als eben jene verehrt. Ihre Leidenschaft und Esprit lassen sich nun mal auch nicht über Nacht ablegen. Mit übersprudelnden Emotionen und mitreißenden Geschichten müssen die Aufführungen weitergehen. Nur muss Furina von heute an endlich nicht mehr von oben aus alles überblicken. Und auch wenn ihr Leben als Göttin vorbei sein mag, so hat doch ihr Leben als Mensch womöglich gerade erst begonnen.
Lady Farina, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Xavier, a film director.
Hello. Oh, is that the traveler in Paimon I see behind you?
Hallo!
And who's this?
Ich trinke mal nebenbei kurz was, ja? Denkt auch dran, etwas zu trinken.
Boutique. Hello. So, what are you
lecker
all
Wasser.
doing here? Do you need something? Did you just get up, Farina? It's already past noon, you know.
Paimon, sei lieb, du weißt schon.
Huh? Oh, Paimon means the weather is so nice in the afternoon and the sun is so warm. Just like how you make us feel. Sleeping in late is a really smart idea.
Ich liebe es.
No, I was just up late last night reading some novels. What does sleeping in have to do with the weather?
This is a small gift we've prepared for you, Lady Farina. We hope you like it.
No need to be so formal. I'm just a regular person like everyone else now. Is this Fontaine mousse?
Ja, ist es. Ich möchte auch was.
Favorites.
That's great! So, actually, there's something we need your help with. Given your renowned passion and understanding of drama, I would like to ask that you serve as the director of our film crew.
Oh, but didn't you just say that you're a director?
Yes, but for this particular project, I'm mainly working as a producer. Besides, I'm sure that your
diese
understanding of the
Schuhe.
performing arts far surpasses my own, Lady Farina.
Are the Traveler and Paimon also part of the
Ja, sind wir.
Yep, we sure are. Paimon's the clapper loader and he's the camera operator.
camera operator? That can be a pretty technical job, and it directly affects the final quality of the film. Are you really up to it?
Ich habe schon Erfahrung. Ich kann es dir zeigen, wenn du willst, heute Abend, mein kleines Schnuckelwuckel.
No, I'm not.
Okay, dann
questioning
eben
your
nicht.
abilities. It's just that I've never really seen you use a camera before.
Maybe you can come up with a test for the Traveler and see for yourself. If he can satisfy you with his camera skills, then you'd have nothing to worry about and can join the team. What do you say?
You sure are getting better at rolling with the situation, Paimon. Oh, I do wish to see how skilled the Traveler really is with a camera. Alright, how about this? We'll work with what we have. I'll give you some scenarios and see if your work is up to my standards.
Ja, na klar, kein Problem. Ganz wie du es wünschst, Regisseurin Farina.
Very good. It's essential for the camera operator to understand the director's vision. I'll make my decision after seeing your work. Are you ready? I have high standards, you know.
Ja, ich bin bereit. Einen Moment noch bitte. Nein, wir sind bereit.
Okay, grab the camera and I'll give you a
Okay,
scenario.
let's go. Was sollen wir machen? Filmthema der Regisseurin Farina. Estelle, die Inhaberin der Beaumont-Werkstatt, war schon immer stolz auf ihre Schmiedemaschine, die nicht nur präzise Kraft und Temperatur regelt, sondern auch keine Mühen des Schmieds erfordert. Wir drehen einen Werbefilm für ihre Werkstatt und vergiss nicht, die Überlegenheit der Schmiedemaschine hervorzuheben. Film ab! Während des Filmdrehs musst du mehrere Aufnahmen nach den Anforderungen des Regisseurs machen und sie zu einem Film zusammenstellen. Die Kamerapositionierung ist bei den Filmaufnahmen entscheidend und es muss eine geeignete Kameraposition gewählt werden. Ja. Während des Filmdrehs sind Erzählungen nötig. Wähle die am besten geeignete Erzählung entsprechend der Geschichte. Versuche alle Anforderungen des Regisseurs zu erfüllen. Und wenn alle Kamerapositionen und Erzählungen für alle Szenen festgestellt sind, kannst du mit dem Film beginnen und dann das Ergebnis überprüfen. Okay, Aufnahme 1, Anforderung an Kameraposition. Du brauchst eine Szene, die die Beaumont-Werkstatt zeigt. Ja. So, dies ist der von Regisseurin Farina festgelegte Inhalt der Erzählung. Okay. Nummer 2, du brauchst eine Szene, die die Schmiedemaschine bei der Arbeit zeigt. Ja. Dies ist der von Regisseurin Farina festgelegte Inhalt der Erzählung. Oh, ich habe euch, glaube ich, das gar nicht vorgelesen. Wartet, entschuldigt. Die Beaumont-Werkstatt am Hof von Fontaine. Das ist eine Werkstatt, in der mittels einer Maschine Waffen geschmiedet werden. So eine Maschine ist absolut für arbeits- und zeitintensive Arbeiten wie das Schmieden geeignet, denn sie erlaubt eine bessere Kontrolle von Kraft und Temperatur. Kameraposition 3. Du brauchst eine Szene, die Estelles entspannte Arbeitsatmosphäre zeigt. Ja, das ist das hier. Oder? Ja doch, ne? Sie gönnt sich ja was. Dies ist der von... Achso, okay. Dank ihr kann sich die Inheimerin der Beaumont-Werkstatt Fräulein Estelle ihre Arbeitszeiten bequem gestalten. Du brauchst eine Szene, die viele Kisten voller Waffen zeigt, die in der Beaumont-Werkstatt hergestellt werden. Ja. Aber sei versichert, die Qualität der Waffen der Beaumont-Werkstatt ist ausgezeichnet und ihre Schärfe ist exquisit. Du brauchst eine Szene, die die Beaumont-Werkstatt zeigt. Ja, das hier? Wenn du also eine Waffe suchst, dann nichts wie hin zur Beaumont-Werkstatt. Okay, Film. Filmthema der Regisseurin Farina. Das ist so cool. Und Kotschiko! Gluck, gluck, gluck. Ich finde das ist so ein geiles Event, ganz ehrlich.
Oh, it appears that you have more skill than I thought.
Ja, ich
All the
weiß.
shots had a great composition, and I could really feel a connection to the characters and their lines.
Also, wie lautet dein Urteil?
Yeah! Does that mean you agree to be our director, Farina?
Did you think I would agree just like that?
Was?
After our performance of the Little
Spoiler!
I've begun to make a name for myself again, you know. In fact, I've already had several troops approach me for the Fontaine Film Festival.
Oho.
Unfortunately, the scripts were all pretty boring and didn't pique my interest. If others were to find out I agreed to work with you so easily, then, well...
Hey, but didn't we have a deal? What else do we need to do to convince you, Farina?
Echt mal, Farina. Mann.
Well, what about the pay?
Huh?
Hä?
You know, how much you're willing to pay me to be the director? The pay is also an important factor for me to consider, you know.
Well, I can offer you this much?
Ja.
What? That's all? If Nervilat were to hear of this, he could charge you with underpaying your labor.
I'm sorry, but our crew is in a tight financial spot at the moment.
I see. Well, even though it's highly unlikely now that I'll join your crew, there's still something I'd like to ask. Exactly what film are you planning to make?
Oh, our script is an adaptation of The Two Musketeers.
Huh? Wait, you mean the suspense thriller novel that was a
Ja,
#1
ja,
bestseller?
ja, ja, ja.
Oh, so Farina's read it too.
Of course I read it. I've always had a keen interest in artistic works that strike a chord with the populace. I see. It all makes sense now. You must have used most of the budget to pay for the copyright.
Not really. The novel's author transferred the copyright to me practically for free once he heard that I wanted to make a film adaptation of the story. The lack of budget is due to another issue.
He probably just wants to get his name out there. So, Mora isn't the most important thing to him right now. It reminds me of a delivery courier who wears one of my designs while traveling all across Teyvat. I didn't charge her much for the outfit either. The exposure she provides for my brand is well worth it.
So, are you a big fan of this story, Farina?
Ja, bist du ein großer Fan?
Well, it's alright. The pacing of the story is good, but the character relationships could use some work. When I was reading it before, I always felt like some things were left on a rather unsatisfactory note. I have high standards, you know.
Okay.
Mr. Xavier, if, hypothetically speaking, I agree to be the director, how much freedom would I have in terms of script revisions and creative interpretation?
Oh, as much freedom as you would need.
Hoho, damit hast du sie mal, Boy.
Of Fontaine's greatest star.
Good. Then I'm free to alter the script as I see.
Naja, du solltest nicht alles ändern.
Absolutely, no problem.
Wir zählen auf dich, Regisseurin Farina. Hier ist deine Gelegenheit, einen Film zu drehen, wie er dir gefällt.
All right. It seems that your crew really can't go on without my care and direction.
Ja.
So, you agree?
Yes, I agree. Although the pay is well below what someone of my caliber deserves, a great script calls for a great director.
Dieses,
I must admit,
habt ihr das eben am Auge gesehen? Bling, bling.
Due to lack of funds. If you have fine cheese and bread, you wouldn't just let it sit on the counter and get moldy just because you lack an oven, right?
Danke, Farina.
Oh, Hydro Archon above! I'm not dreaming, am I? Somebody pinch me.
There's no more Hydro Archon, you know. And it's still a little early to celebrate. There's a lot that goes into shooting a film. Although the trickiest tasks of finalizing the script and casting the actors have already been taken care of, we'll still need to reserve filming locations. Not to say set up lighting and props. And by the way, since we'll be filming the two Musketeers, we'll need to find an action choreographer. Ideally, a professional who has actual experience with muskets.
Okay.
Yes, I've thought about this as well. I was hoping that you might know someone who could handle the job.
Ja.
Me? If this was before, I could have simply asked Glorand. But it's already been some time since I last talked to her. Navia can also use firearms, but
Navia!
unfortunately, her style
Die
is
coole
quite different from
Socke!
that of the characters in the story.
Could we ask the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol?
Oh, you mean the Special Patrol's Musketeers?
Yes, that's right. They work with muskets every day. I can't think of anyone more qualified than them.
They would be under Nervilette's jurisdiction. Unfortunately, I, don't have any connection with them at all. So, in the end, we still have to start by talking to Nervilette.
No need to go to all that trouble. I know their Captain Chevres.
Ooh.
Oh, you do? Wait, Chiori, how do you know the captain of the Special Patrol's Musketeers?
No particular reason. Running a business means dealing with some trouble from time to time, and she's helped me out on a few occasions. In return, I've helped her handle a few situations in which the Special Patrol couldn't get involved directly. So, we've gotten to know each other over time.
So you're saying there's been times when the Special Patrol needed a fashion designer to handle a situation? Your work is becoming more and more mysterious.
It'd be best to keep it that way. Anyway, enough about that. What do you all think about asking the captain to be our musket action choreographer?
Ja, klar. Frag
She
sie.
sounds professional enough. She is a captain after all. I have no objections.
But I
Objection!
imagine the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol must be busy with their duties. Do you think she'd really have time to help with shooting a film? And then there's the issue of pay.
Well, it just so happens that she's also not the kind of person that's just after Mora. As for whether she has time, I'll have to go and ask her first.
Then I'll leave that to you. Macaroni's on sale today. so I've
Macaroni,
got to
okay.
go. You can just tell me how things went when we discuss tomorrow's plan later.
No problem.
Having Farina join feels like a big boost to our team.
Of course. Just wait until the day of our premiere. You'll witness the true power of my name in these lands. You'll be so glad I agreed to help. I can guarantee that even the standing tickets will be sold out.
Selbstsicher ist sie ja,
I'll be
ne?
sure to ask some people I know to see if they'd be willing to act as extras.
Seems like you're finally getting more comfortable with your own reputation now.
I didn't ask for the Clapperloaders commentary, Paimon.
Ich bin schon gespannt auf die Premiere unseres
Then let's
Films.
get going. I happen to know where Chevres is today.
By the way, I'm curious. If my pay is so low, then what about our two lead actors? Didn't they travel here all the way from Inazuma?
Actually, they told us that they see the trip as part of a cultural exchange, so they didn't ask for any pay.
What? So is every person in Tevat who doesn't want money gathered here to shoot this film? Don't tell me Chiori isn't being paid either.
I already knew Xavier from before, and he's also agreed to give me
Oh,
a
das ist
bonus and
natürlich auch
exposure.
gut.
It seems the gods have really smiled upon you, Xavier. And that certainly doesn't include me, mind you.
Suche nach der Truppführerin der Sonderpatrouille Patrouille Chevres. Ich weiß, die ist falsch ausgesprochen, Leute. Wir reden nicht darüber, okay? Wo muss ich hin? Da hinten hin. Wow, hello, my girl. Oh, ich liebe die Musik. Oh, ich liebe alles an
Alright.
Fontaine.
This is the place.
But where's the captain? There's hardly anyone around here.
She's over there. The one with an eye patch reading in front of the newsstand.
Ich glaube, die kommt als nächstes.
Oh, her! Paimon could tell there was something different about her.
Ne? War das nicht so?
Seems kinda intimidating.
Oder kam sie?
Please wait here for a moment. I'll go.
Okay.
She's working now, so you might
Now.
not want to get in her way.
Working? But isn't she just standing there and reading a novel?
Just trust me.
Okay, ich vertraue dir.
Alright, let's see what happens then. Shiori sure is a mysterious person. She claims just to be a fashion designer, but she knows all these powerful people.
The court of Fontaine isn't particularly tolerant of visitors from overseas, so it isn't easy for a foreigner to promote their brand here. Even more so in the competitive world of fashion. Even a local like me just trying to make a film has to face all kinds of challenges. So I can only imagine what Shiori has been through to get where she is today. I'm sure that having more connections has definitely worked in her favor.
Reading on the job?
Detective novel.
One main character?
No. Multiple. Branching storylines.
I see. How's the plot coming along?
One of the main characters is about to make a choice that will affect the rest of his life. I'd wager he's going to make the wrong choice.
Okay.
Any way to speed things up? There's something I need your help with.
You know that doesn't depend on me. It all comes down to what the character chooses.
Which is exactly why I'm here to help.
Oh.
All right. It appears he made the wrong choice in the end.
Oh.
Huh? What's going on?
Ja, das hättet ihr nicht vor ihr machen sollen, wa, ihr Idioten?
Hand over whatever you're holding.
Oh.
It's just a book. I didn't buy anything else.
Then I'm sure you wouldn't mind letting me have a look.
Excuse me, officer. I don't mind you standing around here, not purchasing anything, but I'd prefer if you didn't disturb my customers. It's bad for business, you know.
Don't give me that act. You won't be able to get off so easily either. I am Chevraz, captain of Fontaine's Special Security and Surveillance Patrol.
Whoop.
I will say this one last time. Hand over whatever you're holding at once.
Sonst haut sie dir
And
eine
before you do anything
runter.
unwise, let me remind you that I'll have you on the ground before you can
Oh,
even think about making a run for it.
Oh, girl.
Alright, I'll give it to you. But please
Warum?
let me
Lass
say
dich doch auf den
something
Boden
first.
werfen.
If there's any contraband in that book, then the shopkeeper here is the one who slipped it in. I don't have anything to do with this.
Why, you trying to leave me on the hook, huh? You were the one who said you wanted it.
Save it for the interrogation room.
Mhm.
Take them away, Letelier.
Mhm. Tschüss. Tschüss.
What's going on here? One second you're reading a book and the next you're escorting people away.
And who are... Oh! Aren't you the traveler who's been all over the
Hallo,
campus recently?
Ehefrau Nummer
Sure.
30
I'm
oder
assuming what you
so.
wanted to ask me about has to do with them, right? Maybe I can let you in on what's happening then. Now that Vacher has been brought to justice, no new shipments of synth will be made and distributed to sellers. The Fontaine guards have been busy collecting the remaining synths still circulating on the market. Thanks to a tip from our reliable source here, this should be the very last batch.
Oh, so you were pretending to read a book in order to catch the bad guys. Oh, Paimon almost forgot to introduce ourselves. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the
Paimon ist Paimon.
Hey, I'm Chevraz. You
Hi.
probably already heard me introduce myself, so I won't bother repeating it.
Warum hast du sie nicht einfach sofort verhaftet? Ja, weil die noch keine
Why
Beweise
didn't you make
hatte.
a move as soon as you had the chance? Were you worried that my intel wasn't accurate?
No, I wanted to see if the shopkeeper would turn himself in first. All he had to do was come up to me and say that he didn't know where the synth had come from. If he did that, then I wouldn't have had to press charges on him.
He had the whole day to turn the synth over to Chevraz. But instead, the moment I came up and blocked Chevraz's line of sight, he took the opportunity to sell it off.
Yep, he made the wrong choice, even though the right choice was right there in front of him.
But you knew they wouldn't make the right choice.
Yeah, I knew. I was just hoping I'd be wrong for once. Enough about that, though. What did you want to ask me about?
Ja, willst du mitspielen beim Film?
Oh, you see, it's like this.
Bitte sag ja.
The Two Musketeers. You certainly have a good eye for a story.
Ja, ich
So, what do you
weiß.
need
Ich
me
war
to
zwar
do?
nicht diejenige, die
Just
es
be the action
entschieden hat,
choreographer
aber
for the
ja.
actors?
Yes, that's right. I want to make sure we get all the details right. I want the actor's posture and understanding of firearms to be as realistic as possible. However, I'm afraid this work will require a bit of your time, since you'll have to be present whenever we're filming. Also, as for the pay...
No need to say any more. I'll join.
Woohoo!
Just like that.
Yes!
Really? You're willing to help us with our humble film project?
Sure, it's no big deal. As I said, we've wrapped up our investigation here, so I don't have any other tasks on my plate for the moment. Besides, I personally really like this novel. I even have the collector's edition at home. Stories where justice prevails over evil never get old for me.
Then we've got a deal?
Yes, I'll see you on set tomorrow.
Oh my! I can hardly believe it! I should tell Lady Farina immediately. Oh, and I must tell the prop manager and lighting technician to get everything ready. We start filming tomorrow!
Ja! Ja, er ist immer so, du brauchst nicht so gucken.
The film is going to
Ach
take
ja, ihr
more
kennt
than
euch
just
ja.
a day to finish. Still, I should also head back now and start preparing the actors' costumes and makeup.
Guess that's it for today then.
Traveler, Paimon, please stay for a moment. I have something to tell you.
Then I'll take Xavier back. Poor thing. He's so excited that he can't even walk straight anymore. I don't want to spend our first day fishing our producer out of the fountain.
Wir sehen uns morgen. Ich glaube, Xavier wird sich schon beherrschen können.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Bis dann. Wow, wie lange? Oh, 55 Minuten. Ich wusste gar nicht, dass das so lange geht, der erste Part. Okay, was hast du noch zu sagen? Bitte sei schnell.
So what did you want to tell us, Chevres?
Have you read The Two Musketeers?
Ich weiß etwas darüber. Ich habe es noch nicht gelesen.
The story is about a pair of children born into the household of a baron and their struggle to survive together and take revenge for their mother. They were raised at the baron's estate, where their mother worked as a maid. The two were illegitimate children that the baron had with the maid, so they were never treated well by anyone. One day, upon returning home, they found their mother had been murdered and left dead on the floor. It was quite evident that the culprits were the other members of the baron's household, who never had any kind words to say to them. However, the baron was able to exert his influence and keep the whole thing under wraps. The mother's death was eventually deemed as a suicide, and there was no chance of bringing her murderers to justice. Many years later, members of the baron's family suddenly started turning up dead one after the other, all killed by gunshot. A rainbow rose was found on each of the victims' bodies, being the flower that the kid's mother liked best. The baron believed that the mother's soul had come to take vengeance on him, so he lived in fear each day. But it was actually those two siblings who had fled all those years ago. They relied on each other to survive and trained day and night, eventually becoming adept musketeers. They used all of their abilities to collect evidence and clues before executing their plan and exacting revenge on the baron. Their actions let the truth behind their mother's death be known to all.
That's quite an exhilarating story.
Yep, the baron got what he deserved for his evil deeds, and justice was able to prevail. It was just the kind of story I enjoy.
Oh, so is that why you were so willing to join our crew, Chevres?
You could say it was one of the reasons.
Oh, you mean there were other reasons too?
I've read the reports about you. Whether it was at the trials or when you lent your hand to resolve our nation's crisis, you've shown that you've got a strong sense of justice, as well as a great mind for deductions.
Warte, du willst damit sagen, dass es gibt einen Fall, bei dem du unsere Hilfe benötigst?
Yes, you're as sharp as I expected. It seems you've experienced many similar situations before. There's been a recent murder case involving muskets. The perpetrator's methods appear to be very similar to what is described in the novel.
Okay.
Huh. Really? But Paimon didn't see anything about that in today's papers.
The Marechaussee Phantom hasn't yet released any information to the public because the investigation is currently at a standstill. The murderer is extremely cautious.
A murder involving firearms? But not that many people use those in Fontaine, right?
Könnte es jemand aus deiner Truppe sein?
Impossible. We perform a routine inspection of our firearms and ammo reserves every day. If one of the weapons had been fired, it would stick out like a sore thumb. Besides, I trust the members of my platoon. However... Well, that's all I can disclose about the case today.
Huh? What do you mean?
I hope you all can go back and get some shut-eye. You can decide tomorrow whether or not you'd like to join the investigation with me. I'm aware this might not be the ideal time to add more to your plate, but the more capable people we have, the better the chances that justice will prevail.
Okay. Kann dir nicht jemand von der Sonderpatrouille bei den Ermittlungen helfen?
Carrying out investigations isn't actually supposed to be our responsibility. Our job is to apprehend the perpetrators. Finding them is really up to the Marechaussee Phantom.
Mhm.
You could say I'm taking part in the investigation out of personal interest.
Okay.
I don't want people to see muskets in a negative way. And also, I'm concerned about the similarity between the
Deswegen
crimes
hast du
and the
direkt
story.
zugesagt.
You mean they might be connected somehow?
I suspect so. Just to make myself clear, this is not an order, nor is it a deal of any kind. It's if you two have any interest in
ich
the
habe eben
case after we
geklickt.
finish filming tomorrow
Ja,
and are
ist schon
willing
lange
to
nicht mehr
assist me,
passiert, ne?
then I would be most grateful.
What do you think, Traveler?
Es war ein langer Tag. Lass uns morgen darüber
You're
nachdenken.
right. Heimat's getting a little tired, too. We've really been hustling all day.
You'd better head back and get some rest. It's good to keep a calm mind, especially when you're about to make an important decision. Otherwise, when the moment comes, you might end up like that shopkeeper and not even realize that the right choice is right there in front of you.
Musketenschüsse durchbrechen die Stille. Auftrag abgeschlossen. Und damit, meine Lieben, beenden wir diese Aufnahme. Ich gucke noch mal kurz hier. Oh, wir können hier irgendwas machen. Okay, achso, okay, das ist der nächste Auftrag. Damit beenden wir die Aufnahme. Ich danke dir wieder vielmals fürs Zusehen und wir sehen uns im nächsten Part wieder. Und bis dahin, bye bye!